Are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
What up? So I make mad beats, live in effect from outer space in Unapologetic Studio. I'm about to be out. I'm gonna just leave it to these guys for a second, cause honestly, just don't feel like being here at all.
That's how you feel.
And behind him is his cast.
What up, LJ19?
C major.
Period.
Her name is Unique. My name is Kid Maestro. And this is Tight Beat. We back in this joint. What's today's date? February 2nd?
First.
No, first.
Today's
First of February, you know what I'm saying?
Let's
Y'all
go.
paying rent
Black
today?
History.
Hell no.
Y'all pay rent today?
Why you have to say that?
Man,
Just fucked up my whole mood.
Bro. Oh, speaking of Black History, I just realized this, but C Mage and I are the first Black people to ever make a crochet song and actually like make that junk go viral.
Really?
Yeah.
that don't did go
All
wrong.
right.
That jump was crazy.
This one crazy.
Still to this
I
day,
had no idea.
y'all go get the crochet song.
Man, congratulations.
Black history on the first. Let's get
Literally.
it out here.
We're the only ones.
Black and beige history.
Black.
Might try to really go there. On the first
On the
nigga?
first, early. Hey, he early.
Damn, bro.
Wasting no time.
Babe.
Wasting no time.
This is the issue with our people, right?
I hope y'all are doing good today. I'm feeling good. I know they feeling good. So what we talking
Good,
about?
man. Yo, it's odd, but yeah, we're talking about memes. You know, the meme culture, the impact that has.
Man.
Yeah, it's become part of music. Like, it's a weird thing to say. I never thought that would be a thing. But yeah, we're talking about memes and meme culture and how that impacts just album sales, songs, lyrics. Got Dilla time.
Yes, sir.
Always good
Shout
to talk
out.
Dilla time. And then, you know, classic
J Dilla.
albums. What makes albums considered to be classic?
Classic albums.
Is it a time period, you know, with that? Is it a feeling?
It's how distinguished
Mm,
you are
Come on.
That's what
when
it
you're
is.
making it.
Pinkies up when
You
you
know what I'm
rapping in
saying?
the
If
booth.
you was wearing a suit during the process, you was probably a classic. Case in
Mm.
point,
With the top
my
hat.
distribution, you know what I'm saying?
Fucks with it. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Top hat,
if you was
top
sipping
hat.
tea,
That gives it a
The
classic.
oblong
it's,
tea.
it's adding to it. You know what I
Adds
mean?
value. So
The
it's classic
oblong.
on classics.
Yeah.
I guess I'm back, man.
The oblong.
I guess.
You know what I'm saying? Was that? And there was another one, right?
And no, it was what makes a classic,
Okay.
Dilla time, and meme culture.
Okay, bet. So which one we starting with?
Meme culture, of course. I feel like we have to. This is the age of the meme. Like,
Okay, bet. Well,
Mimi.
before we get started, y'all know how we do. We prioritize you in our conversation. So
Yes.
if you comment, you will be a part of this conversation. We'll stop what we're talking about to make sure we acknowledge, answer, and respond. So please chime in. This is an invitation. This is an open discussion. And with that being said,
meme culture.
okay. So the question is specifically what?
How has it become part of music?
Bro. Okay.
Yeah, like, I feel like we're at a space now where people legit make songs knowing that it's going to become a meme. Like, it's quotable, memeable now. Like, I feel like that's part of the angle when you're creating now, which is odd. But
What's the last big song that became a meme?
I feel like anything Drake was part of
Yeah.
was a meme. No, for real. Think about it. The joint that he did with him and 21. That whole project was
Yeah.
memed. Like,
Yeah, it was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even just things that he say online. But again, I feel like he knows that, and I feel like he shoots for that. Like we was talking about before. Like he's like one of the greatest at that.
Okay. First off, I just want to acknowledge that I'm still like tripping off how meme started to be applied to not just like a picture.
Bro,
Literally. Literally.
Exactly.
bro, I'll never forget, man. Like, a meme was like not just a picture, a certain style of picture.
Right.
The
Right.
words were in the, like
Right.
commonly the top punchline is at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, it was
Right.
like a format.
Absolutely.
Now it's Wild Wild West.
Come on, meme format.
You know who did it? It was
GIFs.
Ariel. Ariel came up. She was like, ah, yeah, this is like a meme, and it showed it to me, and it was like a video, and I was like,
What they call those gifts?
I don't understand. You know what I mean? And how that just changed. So thank you for calling that out. Man.
So
That was definitely-
I still am just getting adjusted to that.
Yeah.
To let y'all know.
I think meme is a culture. That's why they say
Yeah, it's
meme
meme
culture.
culture.
That's crazy.
It's just a culture of jokes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like swift jokes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how the pause effect came in, though, through meme culture, I believe.
When
no,
Dame
I think the
Dash
pause,
became
that
a
was-
meme.
Pauses before
predated-
it.
That was there. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
That predated.
that was some New York shit.
Yeah, that was some Harlem shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but New York as a whole became a meme.
Yeah, no,
It is
for real.
real.
Especially
It
after
is
that, what's that one? What do you want to tell Joe Biden right now? Type shit. Like, you
You
know,
really hit that joke.
like,
What do you?
Niggas was going crazy for
No,
a little
for
bit.
real,
They had a
though.
whole couple summers.
see these dogs in your front yard. Just I'm coming hard.
But, so I just want to acknowledge that. But one thing, so JPEG Mafia, bro. So we was like, well, I don't remember the context, but I was just, I was like researching like companies that did on the ground like marketing and just music industry stuff, just trying to learn or whatever, and came across this company called God Mode, and they were the head of God Mode. She was being interviewed by Ari Herstand. I can't remember his name. His name's Ari, and he'd be doing a bunch of music industry kind of talks and interviews on YouTube. And so they were talking about how with JPEG Mafia was one of their clients. And how one of the things that their company did was hire a bunch of teenagers, and literally, like, when JPEG would drop music, they would use meme marketing. Now, she didn't go into the specifics on like exactly what that was or what kind of memes, but I do know she had a farm of young people that legit just like use memes to market JPEG Mafia's music, and that was the first time I was introduced to the idea of that being like a legit like music marketing tactic. And so
Yeah, nah, I think so. That's with the Drake question. I think he's like he is a pioneer of that being a business, let alone not just being a happenstance thing. Like not just. I don't know if you remember, like I think it was the starter from the bottom video, whatever. When he's just like walking out of every place with with the boots on and them leather pants and shit. And they put that on like everything. Bro. That was like OG meme shit. But then it moved from like that to like Kiki, Dilla, and then Shiggy did the whole dance and shit. Like that doesn't. It went. I think it started with Drake as people like to make fun of me. That's cool. To like, nah, this needs to happen. Almost kind of like how Kanye does stuff. Like like things happen happenstance, and then he's like, no, these things need to happen. And so now and I feel like that's the funniest thing about this Drake lawsuit too. Like he built business. All these TikTok houses, these YouTube houses, and all these stuff are in partner with these labels, Sony, UMG. Like all of these labels pay for these things and these services. Shiggy didn't just fuck with Kiki and be like, yeah, I want to do this dance. No, they sent him a check and say, "Hey, make this hot," and that's what he did. And now everybody jumping out their car dancing to it. Same thing, guys playing like it doesn't happen by chance anymore. And I think that was one of the most brilliant things that Drake, or I wouldn't even say that was just Drake. It probably was whoever his parent label is, whoever the label is was like, all right, nah.
Hold on a second. My bad. So we got people on. We're live on multiple platforms. On Instagram, we got somebody saying there's no sound.
No sound.
That's
What?
interesting.
That's crazy.
If you can hear us,
Check.
yeah, let us know. If you can't hear us, let us know.
Yeah, that's odd.
Because we've gotten a few responses. Or maybe they're just reading the title. I don't know. Yeah, if you guys can hear us, let us know. If not, let us know.
Yeah.
Hey.
Do some sign language in the
Hey. That's my.
Check.
That's my
crazy.
Yeah, we're capturing. Let me type it in just in case.
Right, we up and see if you can hear us. They like,
Bruh, I saw the comments said we want to laugh too. We've been in here dying,
yeah.
having a good old time.
Yeah.
great.
See, Major, get ready to repeat everything you just said.
Repeat.
Now you might have to go to the bathroom again.
Damn. We got something to run it back.
Right.
Damn.
Yeah. Let me just pull it up. Sing, boy. Let's see.
So they said they couldn't hear us on IG.
Nah, we live, G.
It's on
Rewind it.
YouTube.
See if it.
Oh, yeah.
I'm on YouTube. Let's see.
I mean, Instagram.
Right, wasn't it? All right, now I think we good.
Yeah, it's the IG. We straight.
Yeah. So if you peeping us on IG and you can't hear us,
Refresh your internet.
I want to check your phone settings.
on YouTube and not IG.
I can hear you on YouTube, but not on IG. Damn, IG hating it.
It's only playing on
Ain't nothing. It's the same thing getting sent everywhere. So, yeah. I don't know. You might want to hit the little phone volume thing on the side. That might be tripping you up. You know what I mean? It be tripping me up sometimes, but you know what I mean?
Turn it down on accident, you know.
Yeah. Now, I mean, like the mute junk. Sometimes, like
Oh, yeah.
on IG,
Oh,
like,
when
the
you-
stories
yeah.
are live. Yeah.
That shit's weird. It's weird. Yeah.
But yeah. One more time. We are live on Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. So yeah, feel free to chime in with us on any platform. One more time, like Kid Maestro said, we are prioritizing your involvement. So if you got a question, you got a comment, we will stop to make sure that your question or comment is read and engaged with. Yeah. So right now we're talking about meme culture and what it means currently in music and in society. We first had to realize that that memes were not. There was a different definition of memes. Which, by the way, I'll read it to you guys. I just robbed it straight off of ChatGPT. A meme is a piece of content, typically an image, video, phrase, or joke that spreads rapidly online, often with variations or adaptations. Memes are usually humorous, relatable, or culturally relevant, and they evolve as people remix or reinterpret them. They can convey social commentary, inside jokes, trends. They often reflect shared experiences within communities. In short, a meme is an idea, joke, or trend that spreads like wildfire on the internet, sometimes absurd, sometimes deep. And I'll just leave it at that, you know what I mean? Yeah.
Like the
Shout
Chill
out,
Guy
Jack.
meme and that music.
Yeah.
That John is, you know what I'm saying? Going crazy. I hope whoever made that John is getting paid.
The first meme, I don't know, I feel like the first meme that just officially said, yo, meme culture, let's go, was when Manny Pacquiao got knocked out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And then he just had it just
Yeah.
laid on. Everybody remembers exactly, bro.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
That was a crazy day.
Yo, we've established though that memes have become an intentional part of people's like marketing strategies.
Yeah.
But the thing about memes,
Alexis, what up? Ghost, what up?
at least for how it feels to me, you know, and you know, The industry is all smoke and mirrors these days. But it feels that memes still do happen very organically because we all like to, laugh. And so my question is, can we think of anybody who's been memed, an artist who's been memed, and it negatively affected
Azalea
their
Banks.
And it negatively
What happened
affected
with
their career? That's a good question.
Azalea Banks.
What happened with Azalea?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm familiar with the Azalea.
Yeah, she's the meme culture is torn her down.
I mean, like how? Is there an example?
Like,
You just look this up.
it's a couple of them. Who else?
I don't.
And I wouldn't necessarily say it was like.
Diddy.
I don't think that was
I
meme
think
culture. That was just Diddy himself. Like,
I think if anything that helps. Like that's such a serious thing that if you take away no Diddy, then you really get to the this nigga's a piece of shit. I feel like it's really lightning.
Here's what I'll say, bro.
Compared to what he actually did, is really lightning. I don't think it's a bad
In my
thing.
opinion, and it's not to like soften or do anything about what he actually did. But in my opinion, I think that if it wasn't for No Diddy, then a lot of people, he might have slipped into obscurity. Kind of reminds me of like R. Kelly. People didn't forget about R. Kelly, but they not talking about like he's not mentioned as much. You know what I'm saying? To where he's like the symbol of sexual misconduct.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
Kale still get brought up pretty often. But
No, he really does.
But the
He
shit
really
that was a
does.
moment.
the shit Diddy did, he wouldn't have slipped out into. We
Diddy
really
has taken over though.
I just look at Donald Trump too, and you know what I'm saying?
That definitely did. It hasn't.
But it didn't have a negative effect on them though.
Yeah, no, I feel like C Major with the No Diddy, it does feel like it lightened.
Like the mood.
Yeah.
If I was his PR team, I'd be like, all right, cool, let's let this live. let's let this live for a little bit.
Virgo says Meek Mill,
I think
which is
that's
a
a really
great addition to the
That's
conversation. Yeah. Meme culture tore him apart, bro. Straight up.
Damn,
That's
me.
I'll
real.
never hear Rollie on my wrist.
Yeah.
The same.
Oh, you're right. I can't even
Oh
beat
my gosh, poor Big Mill.
Damn,
He
Meek.
came out so like from the streets and from a broken space. You
And
know,
he started
as-
like sliding and
yo,
falling
yo,
down.
and
Diddy.
it's like,
That's what it was.
damn.
Diddy had the baby
Diddy,
on his steps.
Oh my god.
No, that's real.
Damn.
It definitely have impacted Meek Mill negatively.
Dang, Meek Mill.
Damn.
But that's also interesting how like as many people have been memed, like we're not really coming up with examples of how it negatively.
Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj has been named a couple of times for trying to bash Megan Thee Stallion.
But has it negatively
Wow.
I don't think
affected her
it. Yeah, I
career?
don't think so.
And in a sense, she's not as popping as she used to be or whatnot. And
But she-
then,
but she-
But is that at
I
the
don't think that's
results
the,
of these memes?
I don't.
no.
No.
I think
And
that
she's
is her.
expanding to other businesses. She got the radio show, all kind of
I
stuff.
still
like-
think Nicki might be invincible. I don't think there's nothing you can really do to her.
Yeah.
The only thing that's gonna be done to her, she gonna do to herself. I don't think.
I feel that.
And she keep memeing herself like these lives that
It's
she be
it's in
going
pur-
on to.
That's what I'm
You
saying.
know what I'm
It's
saying?
on
They get
purpose,
clipped
yeah.
up. Yeah, I don't think Nicki Minaj really.
She
taking
learned
L's
from
like
Drake,
that.
bro. She learned from the family.
What about Birdman?
Oh, trio, y'all.
Oh,
That that
say
guy with
no more.
Charlamagne is legendary. That's
When
a
you
staple
fold your
in
arms, you
music,
dead
dog.
serious.
Top little bro, he was upset.
That
Yeah.
That man came on this show just for that.
I won't say it no more.
Say no more. That nigga finna cry.
Hey, I don't think it negatively impacted him though. I feel like it actually added fuel to like
That meme
Who he
where him
is.
and Wayne Kiss kind of had him on a downward spiral from there.
Nah.
I don't think.
That's some New Orleans shit.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
that's all niggas gotta say, and then niggas just be
That's
like,
it.
alright.
That's it. I feel
Is
like.
he? I never
Man,
knew.
I feel like
Right,
once,
yeah.
I feel like once they both came was like, this my son, like on some I really raised this nigga
But
type.
you kissing your
Bro,
son in
this-
the mouth?
No,
Well, that's
I
the
get what
thing.
you're saying, but
To everybody else, like to me, that's still crazy. But a New Orleans nigga, all they gonna say is that's some New Orleans shit, and then I'm my instant reaction like, alright, shit, like that's
until the Surviving Birdman documentary comes out. Then everybody
I used to be like, that's
Hold
not
on.
really his kid. Niggas like, nah, bro, that's alright, bro. That's some French.
just
That's
said
some
the
French
same
shit.
The Kendrick said the baby. He also said YK Osiris. There was a mention of the legend that is Soldier Boy.
Soldier Boy, he benefited.
He benefited.
He definitely benefited.
But
and the baby benefited
I think
as well.
I think the
I don't know
I
about
think
the baby.
the I think the thing about the baby is I think memes helped it, but the nigga just I say this all the time and it sounds like I'm hating on the man. The man just wasn't that good, bro. Like he's not that good of an artist to me.
I
Like,
get that.
to really, I think he had a moment and a time, and I think that was just already running out.
He's more of an entertainer than me.
I just say.
Yeah.
Musically, I think he's an interesting person. Like you said, he's a real nigga. Like I feel like he's saying some real shit.
Yeah.
But as a rapper, I think that's like adjacent to what he really is.
I agree. I feel like every couple of years, I remember, every couple of years, I just ask this question to whoever around me is like, probably in the first half of their 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I just try to gauge like what people think is gonna last versus what I know is gonna last. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like what artists are current. And I remember being that with the baby. I remember, being around younger folks and people being like, nah, man, the baby, man about to be a legend. Man about to run hip hop. He about to be around for the next 15, 20 years. And I was like, bro, if he's around for 5 years, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Damn.
and that's the thing. The thing that one of the things that I have a particular feeling about when it comes to hip hop is like, man, like I hate how little skill is like, like. Who are the rappers that get mentioned 30 years after? It's the most skilled ones, right? Yes. Not the coolest ones. With the exception, now we have a few exceptions. Snoop, right? But Snoop is gone on. Snoop is barely a rapper. Snoop was skilled, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not saying Snoop was Nas.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm not saying Snoop was Black Thought. I'm not saying Snoop was, you know what I'm saying, Jay.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Snoop was skilled. He was particularly skilled at freestyling, right? But Snoop is getting mentioned now because Snoop has become an institute of the West Coast. Like, so you'll have those anomalies, but like the people who are here to last are skilled. Like, and I just hate that, like, how often I talk to people and the people that they think is gonna last are like the people who are clearly just not as skilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, and don't like. I think a key to that too is they actually love the rap, like they love the game. And I'm not sure if some of these, like, I don't think the baby fits in the category of he loves the game. Like he loves rap. I think he likes it. I think it's made him a lot of money. He did some cool things. But I think it's a lot of rappers that don't fit in it. I think just like hoop, like it's a lot of niggas that hoop that don't. they just collect the check and it's a job to them.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel that.
Well, meme culture, man. Shout out to Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but the kid, you are YK Osiris. I don't even. To be honest, I never looked at him as a rapper. Like I always looked at him more as a fashion guy. I don't remember any song that that he ever dropped really.
Any of them.
And I always looked at him as a fashion dude that hung around rappers, and so they might have been like, oh no, you can do this, you can rap too, or he might just feel like, I can rap too, let me do this shit. Maybe he started. I don't know his story well enough. Maybe he started as a rapper, but I always looked at him as a fresh ass nigga that just happened to hang around rappers, and he hopped into it. And
So, two things. One, when we talking about memes, like I'm still thinking of like humorous, you know what I'm saying? But according to that definition, like, could a meme just be like a quotable, like the one with Doechii going around with her lyrics genius joint, where she was like, "Yo, I stopped making music to appease others. You know what I'm saying? Like that junk that's just been going around. That's a meme, right?
I would think so.
Huh?
I think. Well,
I
based
would
off
have
the
to see
definition,
it.
it says
It's
it's
literally
a joke
just-
though. Based off of.
Some memes don't make sense to me. Like they don't add up.
we had to go back to the
Gotta go
rubric.
back to the.
Hey, a meme is a piece of content, typically an image, video, phrase, or joke.
Okay.
Doesn't have to be a joke.
Gotcha.
It
So
spreads
then, yeah.
rapidly. Memes are usually humorous, relatable, or culturally relevant, or as keyword,
Right.
as they evolve as people remix or reinterpret them. Yeah.
So yeah. In that context, that's a meme.
So this goes to my second question. Do you think that memes are required for success as an
No.
artist?
Well, it depends on what.
Like, if you want to be an artist, do you need to be trying to become a meme?
It depends on what kind of
in some
artist.
In some way.
It depends on what kind of artist you're looking to be.
I think it's
Nah.
In my
like
opinion.
like we were just saying. I don't think it's intentional. If it's
Yeah.
genuine, just like you were saying, like with Doechii, I don't think her goal.
I
Also,
definitely think her team clipped that up and was
Yeah.
spreading
I mean,
it.
no,
I
I
think
feel
so.
like they cooked it up. I'm saying like in a sense of just her creating herself. Like a lot of stuff was part of like previous interviews or just stuff like that.
But that's what I'm saying though, because because memes are not a joke.
Yeah.
That broadens the scope. Like,
Of
should
this content.
should you be farming yourself for a quotable,
That's crazy.
right? To
Damn.
spread, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
those
So,
things.
I think so.
I think
bro.
yeah.
It's a part of the it's a part of the job now. And if you're vulnerable and open enough on a regular basis, you should stumble upon something that can get you a Doechii moment or a funny moment, and you ride it. But I think that is
That's
definitely
necessary.
It's part of it.
necessary.
Yeah.
All right, my artists, you know what
The
I'm
way
saying?
you say it, it just makes it sound so mechanical, but it doesn't have to be. Like,
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: what's Flying Lotus's meme moment?
He doesn't really show his face to even have a meme.
bumps, Adult Swim.
Are we talking about from his work
We gonna have to
or
cook up
just
one for
Flying
him, bro.
Lotus period?
Yeah, I mean that if that's considered a meme, then I mean that was a very culturally relevant, that was just very culturally relevant to a whole generation of people. But in terms of a meme,
And I don't think Flylo talks enough to. I don't.
That's
I
what
don't
I'm
hear.
saying.
Him.
At all,
I
like-
don't hear him enough, and so I would feel his relatable content wouldn't be him speaking. It would be his music. And I
yeah,
feel like what introduced him to most people
that Adult Swim.
would have been
Adult
that.
Swim.
So if he had something,
So you
Really
have
quick.
to be you have to be attached to pop culture or just mass culture in some sort of way. Then
Really quick, comments coming in. It's terrible that we have to think about should we be a meme to be a successful artist. That's the very first thing I thought when he asked that question. I wasn't even trying to answer the question in my head. I was just
Man.
thinking this is sad. That this is actually a real question. This is not a troll question.
Nope. This is.
This is a real question. Times is bad. I agree, my G. Midas says art branding has been moving further away from the music for a while. I'm gonna tell you the proof in that. Hold on a second, because the money isn't there for the artists like that. Outside of show money, that is. Let me. I want to make a point here. I have a really good friend, or a guy who I consider a friend. A guy named Jerry L. Barrow, man. He's a journalist. He's written for everybody, man, from like Double XL to like Vibe magazine, all these people. And one day he posted up on Threads about like how hip hop publications music publications don't discuss music anymore. They discuss everything else. And Jerry Barrow responded, and he was like, "That's because when they do talk about music, y'all don't read it.
Yeah.
Y'all stop. The fans are looking for scandals.
Yep.
They're looking for, just anything that's salacious, right? But nobody just wants to hear about the music anymore, right? And so it's easy to get mad at like MTV for like not being music television anymore and just being like scandal television. But then at the same time, it's like, yeah, but do you still click on those things? You know what I'm saying? Do you really think MTV is forcing this, or do you feel like MTV is following you, following people's consumption? Right?
That's real. That's real, because I was thinking the other day, just like, what's the current, the basement or anything like that. And I don't feel we have that. But it also could be because...
I mean, we got the. I mean, there's
Poor
some
Tiger.
joints. What's the on the radar? This the on the radar.
On the
joint?
radar.
I mean, there's still. I think there's still some joints.
Nah,
Kanye,
that's
the
not
most-
journalism, though.
Famous meme ever, Kanye shrug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but nah, we don't have a platform where a nigga can sit and talk to the artist about what they got going on. We don't have a ticket on the radar. They just do a version of their song,
Right.
and that's it.
Yeah, I guess. I feel like.
They don't
Well,
have like interviews or
I feel
anything like
like-
that, reviews or anything.
I mean it. I feel like platforms such as like Big Boys, Radio Joint. I still feel like the Breakfast Club. They definitely talk about the music. You know what I'm saying? When the artist has
Breakfast
music
Club,
to talk
yeah,
about.
definitely.
Yeah, radio might be keeping music journalism.
It's in the form of podcasting now.
Radio podcast.
Yep, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is.
Like, when's the last time you watched? Like, it's crazy, especially for if you were sentient in the '90s, right?
Mm-hmm.
We used to watch whole TV shows that were like 1 and 2 hours, just dedicated to music videos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, like just watching music videos for hours. You know, when's the last time like you watched more than 2 or 3 music videos? You know what I'm saying? Like, when's the last time you actually just sat down and said, I want to digest music videos. You know.
Do they even have?
You remember the time.
I
Do
mean,
they
I've
even
done that
have
recently.
shows that, like, what was it, BET Uncut, stuff like that, where they just play?
Wow.
Well, not just specifically to Uncut, but just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like, they had shows to where they just played music videos the whole day.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of those, but again, that's why I guess going back to what Matt was saying, like, the time has changed following the culture in a sense, because
Yeah.
people aren't valuing those things anymore. Like, that's
Micah
what-
says we even pull memes from music videos. Videos aren't at all creative anymore. Just throw shorty shaking ass in there. Damn.
You ain't lying,
Or you Drake.
though.
I still think of Drake, the Hotline Bling joint. That joint was going crazy. They had that man on everything.
Yeah.
But it was intentional. But that's where we at now, it seems. I hate that.
Man, y'all getting depressed, bro. You
Yeah,
might
it
wanna
sounds
switch up the
crazy. I'm thinking about, like, damn, as an artist, it's like, yo, what?
topic. Switch up the topic.
The time
before we
is
get
shit, bro.
Hey man, memes are funny, so just meme
They
yourself
are
and then,
hilarious.
just bring a
Some
smile
of
to
them are
your face.
hilarious.
Memes are funny. I ain't gonna lie, man.
It's the-
I love to laugh, but sometimes I feel like we be laughing too much.
Too much.
I'm just being honest.
I literally be having to put my
Bro,
phone
you know
down.
what's the greatest example of that? What's the boxer? To this day.
Oh,
to this day.
Deion
Tay
Wilder.
Wilder.
Yeah.
Bro,
He was saying some real shit.
was saying some
He
real
was.
stuff
That's
right
all we
there.
clipped.
All we got is
All
to
we
this
clipped.
day.
That's crazy.
Nah, you ain't got the answer, so that was a great interview.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, niggas only think about it.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's sad. Damn.
Ghost says people don't even make music videos damn near now because people want short form 90 seconds videos.
Content.
A 3-minute video is considered a long form content now. Damn.
Wow.
The
Yeah,
average
you know.
attention span for us is like 8 seconds now. It's like shorter than a
Humanity
goldfish.
is just going down the hole. Bro.
Wow.
You might as well
real,
just quit,
for
bro.
real. No, we can't do that. We can't
Also,
do that.
before we
We can't do that.
before we move in this topic, Kidrick, you said YK. I was thinking Bloody Osiris. That's why I said that. YK Osiris definitely got fucked off over me. That's the R&B singing nigga. He definitely fucked himself up.
Even J. Cole got on his ass, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. That nigga weird.
That's just the response, and no matter what it's
Yeah.
I don't know. That's when you don't be listening.
Yeah, I don't know. That nigga weird, bro. You just lean into that. That nigga weird, bro. What else, man? What we talking?
Like, yeah, I don't know. Like,
We're the home of weird is normal.
Right? Like, that's nigga weird.
Why Why you being weird to me?
Nigga told you the whole story. Oh, no, that nigga weird.
You're not listening.
You're not listening to shit.
Yo, shout out
weird.
to that shit crazy.
I don't know. That shit crazy, bro.
Yeah, that's the
Man.
Timing.
Midas says real shit. How we bring the focus back to the art and mass for real? I don't know, man. That's a good question.
You do left. You go Tyler, bro. Like, whatever they doing, you do. If niggas say our attention span 8 seconds, you make a fucking 30-minute video. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kanye that shit.
Force them niggas to.
period.
I feel like, man, like, I'm gonna just say this, like, okay, so this is like early unapologetic, right? Like, I knew I had to set the standard on things, right? But I don't think people understand what you got to do to set the standard on things. So, for example, right? Like, if I wanted intern y'all to score a 20 on something, right? That meant I had to score 25, right? I understood that. I had to score 30, right? Because I had to be not just an example, right? But I needed to also be something that clearly needed to be reached to,
Yeah.
Right.
right? And so I took that on. I understood that as a leader. So anytime I was asking y'all to show up on time at 6 o'clock, y'all might show up at 5:45. I need to be there at like 5:30.
Yeah.
I need so that when you got there early, thinking you was gonna get there first, you pull up and see me already there. So that way I can hold you to this standard in a real way. I feel like the same thing applies for like being creative and being an artist, right? If we want like something creative and art focused that makes people value creative and art, right? Your job is to do it so wildly, right? So clearly, so obviously. So again, like I think there's a real reason why Tyler the Creator landed the way he did in 12 or 11 or 10 or whenever he dropped. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just that he was creative and that he had skill. It was that he did it so far in that direction, right? That once society began to value him, he began to pull more people in that direction. Were they ever going to be as him? Probably not, right? But he became a reason to walk in that direction. But you're only a reason to walk in that direction if you way the fuck over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you gotta be willing to like, if you want people to go in this direction, you gotta be willing to be way over there in that direction to inspire them to go over there.
Alone, most of the
Absolutely,
time.
alone. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah. I do feel too that like, you know, I think what you said about you do the opposite and, you know, kind of what we're talking about is true, because a lot of times that happens when we think humanity has no hope, basically. When the trend is going so strong one way and then somebody goes the other way and then all of a sudden that's more of a trend. It's just that, like, I think our attention spans are shorter for sure, but our brains are, like, still neuroplastic. You know what I'm saying? We could form new connections. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still go and watch movies that are 2 hours long. You know what I'm saying? We still do those things. We still sit and watch people talk about something for 2 hours on a podcast. We do have attention spans. We just have to make interesting content. You know what I'm saying? It has to be interesting visuals, interesting
Well,
context
interesting
too.
to your interests.
Yeah. So
Hey man, I can't agree more, bro. Because people be people be saying like, make your content shorter. Yeah. So, I mean, some of my most like digested stuff on social media be like paragraphs and paragraphs of a story. It's just, are you a good storyteller?
That's right.
If you're a boring storyteller, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't type that much.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
But
There's something that you just said with the storytelling, because that just makes me think of just other content that we do watch, because like at one point, I think The original gap was like, what, 30 seconds on IG? Then it moved to a minute, like a minute and a half to 2 minutes. Like,
That's 3
Now it's
minutes.
3
right.
minutes.
So that, like you said, you just have to be good at telling this story to keep people there.
They just want to talk about TikTok, but Vine started this shit. Vine fucked
Yes,
Yeah,
the Vine.
Vine was 7 seconds, right?
Yo.
Vine, yeah, 6 seconds.
Really quick, Ghost says we got to start having a conversation about TikTok killing music as an art form. That shit destroyed music, bro.
Did it?
Not really, fam.
Midas says, with our phone in our hand the whole time, we'll find the people that care about those things. Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's the thing is I just, I talk to Bart about this all the time, right? It's like there is an art to introducing things, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like there might be people who are interested in something, just like coffee, right? So me and Bart had this conversation years and years ago, right? Like if I were to come out with a coffee brand today, the default thing any advisor would tell me is to like, yeah, and now you should pitch this and advertise and market this to coffee enthusiasts, right? Cool. So anybody who buys Folgers, Maxwell, any of all this stuff or whatever, man, send them an ad for this, right? But the reason why Bart and Coffee Black is so gangster is because they can hit those already existing coffee enthusiasts, but they can introduce it to you as well. That changes the marketplace, right? And that makes you an innovator and a pioneer because you get to introduce worlds to people. And how do they do it? Through great storytelling. It's the same thing every time. Yesterday, I gave a keynote to about 400 people. The keynote was just over an hour. I had their attention the entire time. Right? How good are you at telling a story? Right? And that's where I feel like it's easy to blame these platforms and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can still tell your 2-hour story. Just make it a good story. Stop complaining. Right? Because if it's a good story, people are going to sit like this the whole time.
That's real.
You got shows like Severance from now, like proving this, right? Every other show, somebody's probably holding up a phone while watching the show, doing 2 and 8 things, right? The number one show right now is a show you can't even do that with. If you're not looking at that screen and not being bothered by anything else, you're not following the show.
Right.
But it's because it's a great story.
Yeah.
Tell them stories, man. Enough about memes.
I was just saying, man, good stories make classic albums. You know?
Come on, nigga.
That was slick.
Come on, nigga. Nigga.
He deserves like a some sort of award for that.
Something. You want some water?
Y'all
Give him some
bugging.
water.
Yeah,
That's the link.
That's the link.
Hold on, bro.
Let me get some of that though, cause my lips dry as fuck.
I'm out.
Hilarious. Yeah, man. Good stories make classic albums, man. But I think the important thing when we talk about classic albums, what is deemed a classic album? But like more so, how soon can you deem it a classic?
I'm very interested to hear what everybody listening to this has to say to this answer. What makes a classic album? And very specific. When you answer that, please mention the time frame.
I feel like it's not considered a classic without a 10-year minimum of being out in the world. Like at least a minimum of 10 years to where it soaked in the people's brains and their situations. You know what I'm saying? And related to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Or the impact of it. But like 10 years, that's a minimum. Like I can't stand people talking about, damn, I just dropped a classic and I just dropped it yesterday type shit. Like you ain't even gave the world the chance to even digest it yet. Like seriously. That's another reason why like I've never been a fan, and this is no shade to people who do, but I've never been a fan of like dropping multiple albums in 1 year, unless you have the content like not the Kid Maestros of the world, but like seriously, like nobody.
I ain't never been a fan of a nigga, bro.
Like-
He drop an album every week.
Make reviews on that.
Sit right next to the nigga.
Those dudes be doing way too much, man.
That's
doing
not
too
an
much.
album.
And then he
Yeah,
promote the shit.
there's
I
projects.
feel a certain way
Instagram.
about people that operate like
That
that.
shit
Like-
weird. Then he throw a party at the end of the year to celebrate that shit. Like, this
Act like
shit
it's a
weird
big
as
deal,
fuck.
bro.
Nigga.
That shit has no potential to be a classic.
You,
That
man,
shit is
that
weird,
nigga
bro.
weird.
That nigga weird, bro.
Yo, no, Kid Maestro dropped some projects or whatnot.
Or whatnot.
Oh my god,
We don't know. You know what I mean?
the homie dropped some fire every fucking week. You know what I'm saying? Like
Just wait 10 years from now. We'll see.
yo, but no,
One of them
seriously.
gotta be a classic.
Statistically.
And then that may be my biased opinion of how I think about it. Like, you know, people put out so much artwork or whatnot, and nobody's really heard the first piece or whatnot. But your consistency train is different from a lot of niggas. Like, a lot of niggas will put stuff out, and then next thing you know, they're in their emotional sets and just don't feel like talking about their music anymore. They're talking about how niggas ain't listening to their shit. Like, you ain't talking about none of that shit, even if it's just like 5 people listening to your projects. You know what I'm saying? Like, seriously, and you keep pushing. Like, I don't see that consistency in artists or whatnot, and they talk about their stuff as a classic. Like, how can you consider it a classic when you've never really just kept that shit going, like forced it into people's ears?
Wait, so do you?
To be considered like something that could be, you know, emotionally attainable down the line.
Okay, we got a few more comments. Midas says, I knew No Dope on Sundays was classic early as hell. Austin Mike says, yeah, 10 years is super long, man. Yeah. I think, man, I don't
Y'all
know.
I
ain't
forgot
feeling
about
me
that
on
No
the
Double
chat.
Sundays album.
Oh, that's just-
I don't know. I'm going to say this. I feel like every year, how long 10 years is changes. Right? So, like, yeah. I think, 25 years ago, 10 years was, I would say that was a good measurement of this idea. But now, I don't know, man. Like 5 years is like the new 10 years.
Wow.
Cause so much music drops.
So many things change. Exactly. Like now, more music is dropping on a day than with a whole year, years and years ago.
Yeah.
So this is a lot of time. And the world changes fast now. 5 years ago, technology is not fucking with technology today. So I don't know. It's hard to tell.
What you think, kid?
What do we need, like with the 10 years or the 5 years? What is it? What is validating each one of those years? You know what I'm saying? What keeps it in the running? Year 2, year 3, year 4. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The impact of it
I
all,
think
in my
the-
opinion,
I think
like
the impact, and also think if people are still putting your songs in like their playlist sets in the clubs or whatever gathering they're having, I feel like that plays a part as well.
That is a great question, though.
Yeah. Because I mean, it's songs now, albums that dropped 10, 15, 20 years ago that still, like, multiple songs will pop up on playlists depending on the gathering that you're in.
Well, let's just start with an example, right? So what album, as of 2025, is officially and recently deemed a classic?
Yeah.
Eve. If we gonna go there,
What album is that?
Rhapsody.
Rhapsody.
That's a classic.
I ain't even speaking on
Hey,
this.
don't.
I'm not a Rhapsody fan, so I cannot speak on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm a Rhapsody fan yet. I haven't listened to that album, so.
I fucks with Rhapsody.
I feel like a classic changes now, especially if you want to go decade, then a classic changes the landscape of music. And so 10 years from now, or 10 years back, I think it's right around the time Astro World dropped, maybe. I think that is definitely a classic. That
Yeah.
changed the sound of
Definitely.
music.
That was not 10 years ago. That was like 2018 when that dropped.
It was 18?
Yeah.
Well, it's past
Yeah,
5
I know we
years.
was on the
It's
way to
past
St.
5
Louis
year
when
mark,
it dropped, so
alright.
you're probably right. It was 18. But that is about to be. If we're going up 10 years, that's about to be a classic.
Really quickly. Midas says if the whole album is in your own constant rotation, that's a classic. I still play albums like they're on CDs. That's all I played for a while. Ghost says classics open the Red Sea. If it didn't open the Red Sea and you made it under the I rules and land of Pharaoh, it ain't no classic. We throw the word classic around too easy. I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think there are personal classics too, though. Like I think this might be a classic to you. Like this might have impacted your life, and it's crazy. But a world like I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but an undeniable classic is something I think like Yeezus.
Yeah.
Like that changed the 808s and Heartbreaks. Like something that changed the landscape of music is
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
That is definitely a classic.
Yeah, I always say Good Kid, Mad City. I think that's an example.
Okay, so Good Kid, Mad City, right? Why 10 years later is Good Kid, Mad City a classic? What happened at year 3, year 6, year 8, 9, and 10 that would allow it to in year 10 say, hey, this is a classic?
Do awards have any? What is the status? Is that does he have a diamond, platinums?
I don't know what those statuses are.
I still got one of those songs.
But I just feel like I never stopped being excited about it.
I feel that.
Did the world stop being excited about it?
That's a good question. Well, technically not.
I feel like every album he ever dropped still gets compared to that one. In his own discography.
But is that because of how good it was, or because it was like his first major label album?
I feel like it was because of how good it was.
I don't know. I feel like most artists get compared to their first album.
Yeah.
No matter how good it is.
Yeah.
Is Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe? Is that okay? Yeah. So I think he had some classic songs that, and I think it's a lot of them on the album. Money Trees is definitely on the album. I think
Money Trees, Mad City, Man Down. Where you from?
You good?
Even like
what about
swimming pools?
Yeah.
I love Bad Bitches. That giant.
Yeah. No, I definitely think you're right. I don't know about changing. I think that's one criteria. I don't know if it has to change the landscape. I don't know if Good Kid changed the landscape.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
I feel like there were like conceptual, lyrical, like lyricists at the time that existed, but I don't think anybody was excited about any of them until that dropped.
Yeah. I feel like we talk about this about Kendrick a lot though. Like he's not the one he's not the one that people copy. For whatever reason, he's not the...
He could have been. Don't get me started on that shit.
Until he got
even
into
then, that was the album that they... if he has one...
That's the one that they...
No. Okay, let's make sure this is not revisionist history. Hold on, really quick. Let's get to these comments. I think you got great albums and you got classic albums, but they are not mutually exclusive. I think we mistake the two. Midas says, how much is sampled is a key sign. That's a good one. Ghost says something wild. I'm still excited about Country Grammar, but it ain't no classic to me.
Country Grammar is definitely
a classic.
That's definitely a classic.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's
Virgos, we gonna have to check you up.
Shout out to J.E. Shout out my nigga J.E. That's a classic, bro.
It's like one of the most diamond...
Bro.
One of the most diamond. Them motherfuckers.
You know what? Let's have, really quickly, just for the sake of like trying to understand the impact of Good Kid, Mad City. Hey man, I'm gonna be real, bro. I think Good Kid, Mad City. First of all, I just want to be clear about something. That album is great.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. I'm not trying to take anything away from it, right? But to me, all Good Kid, Mad City was showing the world, hey, I can get signed to a major label, get signed to Dre, right? And still make something as good as Section 80. Section 80 is the thing that put Kendrick on the map. It was not Good Kid, Mad City. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's
Section 8 was
debatable.
crazy.
Let's debate.
I
Who
think,
won it?
I think
Who
that's
won it?
debatable. Yeah, I feel like Section
Let me
8,
step
Section
out of
80
this
is a
debate.
crazy project. Like it's
Love
not taking
piece
nothing
of
away,
fish
but
grease.
in terms of like,
Are you not?
Yeah.
You disagree so bad you
Love
gotta
piece
be
of fish grease. I disagree.
All right, family.
All right, y'all.
So,
yeah, I feel like Section 80, that was also great, top to bottom, but I don't know. I feel like the level of the production value, the storytelling, the way it was woven together, like Good Kid, Mad City, and then like when I think about impact, when we talk to kids and they be like, "Yo, Kendrick," they naming that album. They not naming, Section 80 and all this shit. Like
it had the marketing. Good Kid had the. I mean, that's what you get when you
Yeah,
sign.
and Section 80 could also be a classic.
I'm not saying. Hold on. I want to be clear about something. Like, again, like, I want to make sure that we're measuring this. We're measuring these parameters correctly, right? I'm not suggesting that as many people knew, listened to, and were impacted by Section 80 as they were Good Kid, Mad City. That would be a wild thing to say. That something you can make pre-Dre is gonna drop and hit as hard as post-Dre. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is that, like, I do think at the time, obviously 10 plus years later, somebody who was 3 years old might not remember Section 80. He might just remember when you pull up Kendrick Lamar greatest hits in Apple Music today, probably the first things that are gonna drop are Good Kid, Mad City. Right? Yes, I understand that dynamic. But in that time, I truly don't think people were hit by like Pull Up, Drink, that song and Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. I don't think that those songs as singles hit harder than the stuff that people digested from Section 80. I think that just met the bar of Section 80. Meaning, like, I don't think if you gathered all Kendrick Lamar fans in one room, right, and you said, hey, which one is better, Section 80 or Good Kid, Mad City, I would bet it would be 50-50. Right? And so all I'm saying is just that I feel like Good Kid, Mad City was just proving what he did on Section 80 was real.
Wasn't right?
It wasn't a fluke.
Yeah. To the point, like I don't think I listened to Good Kid, Mad City until I came around y'all niggas, because I was still listening to Section. I was still listening to OD, to be honest. Like OD and Section 80 was like.
Yeah, I mean, overly when I was first getting into college, I had a homie put me on to Overly Dedicated, which introduced me to Kendrick Lamar. But I mean, at least in my experience, Good Kid, Mad City is definitely like, yo, this is amazing. It literally felt like, oh, we got our own Nas. It literally felt like we had our own jump. So.
Really quick, man. Virgo's clapping back. Country Grammar ain't no classic, man. Hell no.
That's crazy.
Mighty says all Kendrick albums had to grow on me, all of them. Ghost also says Good Kid, Mad City was classic because it made mainstream rap stop caring about singles and carrying albums. That was the moment. Ghost also says ADHD was what made Kendrick pop, in my opinion. Yeah.
Shout out to Section 80. And I don't even know if, like, because I wasn't in the pre-Dre TDE hype of Kendrick either, too. So I don't even, like, when I think of Section 80, I think of it literally as an album. I don't even know what the singles were. Now there's definitely some joints that could be singles, but I don't even know if it had a single, if that makes sense.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't think.
No, not at that time. I mean, back then, you was just dropping songs to Two Dope Boys and all hip hop
Right.
and all that stuff. So
People
he
actually
didn't-
love albums.
Yeah, he didn't necessarily have like a single. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
Keisha Tammy, come on. That was crazy, but the skits, the interludes on the joint
the whole-
is just, it's crazy.
Yeah. And Rigor Mortis for sure.
Rigor Mortis is
absolutely.
crazy.
Rigor Mortis was like, wow.
If you had a single, Hold Up might have been the most like pop focused.
My favorite jump was Spiteful Champ. That was a jump with Schoolboy
Chant
Q.
that nigga, bro.
Huh?
Said spiteful chant that nigga. You look like a spiteful chant.
But what makes a classic? What happened in all those years leading up to
Yeah.
10 years?
Like, man, what
I
you
just
like?
I just think for me it was just that like it never. I don't think anybody ever stopped talking about it. I think Hiatus Coyote, Shaolin Funk, Mother Funk is another one that is a classic. Like you don't ever just people don't stop covering them songs. You know what I'm saying? It just never goes away.
Yeah.
Mashups and all that.
Yeah, I think it's important that it feels like classic albums are also using timeless tools, right? So, like, I mean, think about it, right? Like if you're using sounds that define an era, it's harder to make a classic album, right? Like if you go back to them early 2000 songs or whatever, they sound so 2004 that it's just like I don't even know how I'm still listening to this unless it's nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like I can listen to Kendrick album today and I'm not being nostalgic. You know what I'm saying? I listen to a Nas album right now. I'm not being nostalgic. It's just an amazing song. You know what I'm saying?
Listen to a Lil Jon album.
Like, it's going back to 03. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
I think Nas John does have a little bit of nostalgia. Just there
That's
is a
because
classic.
you are a 17, bro. That's why I'm just saying.
You are a 17.
I'm just saying, like, for a dude who was actually alive, I'm not thinking about when I was 12 when I listened to this song.
Yeah, it's good music.
Yeah, it's still just good music. Now there are people who I was listening to when I was 12 who I be thinking about. Oh yeah, when I was 12,
That's
It's the song.
And then there's some people who it's just like, and I think one of the components, and I'm not saying that this has to be, but one of the components that I think honestly is that nothing makes music live longer than a great mix, bro. If it doesn't sound like an era, right? You go back and you listen to Fantastic Volume 2. That just sounds like it came out today.
very, very great.
Yeah. Very, very great. Very, very well mixed. You know?
I think too. Just I mean, to your point though about the classic sounds. You know what I'm saying? If it could be continuously covered, and bands could play it, then that helps its longevity because everybody love a live rendition of something. You know what I'm saying? A candlelight piano or orchestra version of all these songs. If it can be transcribed across multiple mediums, that helps solidify its longevity because it can be experienced in more ways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I also think too, and this is the question I want to ask, if we being real. Hey, can the classicness of an album be determined by the next album? Let me explain.
Okay.
The general sentiment of the artist can change dramatically, which might affect how people look at what they did on a previous thing. So I'm going to just use a movie as an example. Joker was top movie from top 5, right? After seeing this latest joint, bro, I don't even want to include Joker, the first one, in my top nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I just think badly about I looked, I had a better opinion about Joaquin Phoenix as an actor. You know what I'm saying? Now my opinion of him after that is just like, I don't know.
I think it works you're crazy. I think it works the opposite way in music. I think it almost helps your first album if your second one was, then they gonna hold that first one up like, he can't get back to this, like this the one. I don't know if it negative. I don't know if your second or your next album negatively affects your first one. I feel like if anything, if you go worse, then that's just what they gonna. That's what everybody
tell you go back to that.
That's the pinnacle.
I feel like that happened with Nas. Even though his next album wasn't bad, it just wasn't Illmatic.
Yeah,
I agree with that, but I also think this is where the factor of time becomes very important because, bruh, niggas was not fucking with Yeezus.
I was just gonna say that. Yep.
And they were not fucking with 808s and Heartbreak when they came out. Not as much as they were not fucking with Yeezus.
Yeah.
But like both of those joints, over time became joints. So
I still
Joker
think
2
Yeezus is a pretty shitted on album.
Joker 2 might in 12 years be like, yo, be one of them joints. Yo, literally, Dante's Inferno. I'm working with him.
Written in the 1700s, nigga. No.
Dante's Inferno was one of those joints where it was not appreciated, and now it's one of the most classic pieces of literature ever. So this is where the time part comes in, where like what it did when it came out doesn't necessarily eliminate it from its classic potential,
And
classic status potential.
I feel that because they could be stuck on the first or the previous album. So I do agree with Yeezus though. Like I feel like when Yeezus first came out, majority of everyone was like, "Bro, what the fuck is this?" But I do see more people talking about it and appreciating it more now than when it first dropped. So
I don't know. I feel all right when Yeezus came out. You know what I recognize, man? There was a very clear division. Like if you were a newer Kanye fan, Yeezus was like, "Wow, this is amazing." But if you were like I remember when Kanye was trying to get Beats to Cameron type fan, you were way more likely to be like, "Yo, I'm not really fucking with you." You know what I'm saying? I feel like 808s and Heartbreaks, Yeezus, those are like Kanye like checkpoint where it's like you get to the next level and he's just looking for a new batch of fans. You know what I'm saying? Like
That was a great example,
sound
bro.
effect.
That was a great example too. That is like, all right, you made it through this like save game. Like that is a good.
absolutely.
yeah, because he did go on a run where he was just producing for niggas. Just yeah.
Nah, I think Yeezus.
Might have just said, "Hell no, I don't even know what it's for." Just
Fuck with
shout
Yeezus,
out,
man.
shout out, big shout out everybody in all the chats on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. We go live on all 4 of these platforms every week from 2 o'clock to 3:30-ish, depending on how much controversy is in the conversation. Yeah. Again, one more time, if you chime in with us, if you're just not tuning in, you chime in with us, we will engage with you in the form of conversation about your thoughts on the topic, right? Things outside of the topic we might discuss next time, or if we get some free time, but we're going to try to stay on topic. We got a few more minutes left. What are we talking about,
Yeah,
my
speaking
brother?
of the time, you know,
time is an interesting thing.
it is Dilla time, more specifically. Again, we were approaching Dilla Day, so we got to talk some Dilla. Yeah, man, Dilla time. The impact of just his signature, time signature. Like, I mean, it's nowhere to. I'm trying to think of because you see it, you hear it in like every genre now. It's not just limited to hip hop. So yeah, just the impact of Dilla time, man. Do y'all still feel that it will continue to influence?
My question would be when did it like, when did y'all notice that it had like moved past Jay Dilla and the Soulquarians? You know what I'm saying? Where you started to hear it outside of his direct influence.
When I started, was it like Chris Dave?
Yeah, the drummer.
Yeah. When I started to see people who don't even look like us, drumming, and just following that, but essentially like hitting like other genres of music, right? So like, because you're right, like it was Dilla, then it was anything Questlove's involved in,
right.
You know what I'm saying? And then Dilla had, the way RZA had like True Master and, and Fourth Disciple, Jay Dilla had Kareem Riggins and Wajid and, these producers from Detroit who were sought after getting, doing big level things, but clearly were carrying the Dilla, sound. Yeah, and then stuff like that happens. You have the pillars for that world, D'Angelo, right? And I think by proxy, the way voodoo specifically hit the world, like that created a whole bunch of Dilla clones outside of that genre because just how impactful that album was, without them even knowing how involved Dilla was to create the sound of voodoo, right? And so, and I think that, that's where you get your music soul child, right? That's where you get your like, like the furtherance of neo soul, even like your Jill Scotts, right? Their sounds, and that's where it lived for a minute, right? It lived in this kind of neo soul space for a minute. But then, yeah, I'll never forget, like, the first time, like, hearing, like, trap, you know, hearing trap, and I'm hearing that snare's a little early and that hi-hat's a little late.
Yeah.
I'm hearing the naturalness, and, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, oh, wow, this is transcended over here now, right? Into, like, 130 BPMs, or, you know what I'm saying? You know, and I'm hearing that kind of looseness in time, you know, happen even in the world of trap, man. Yeah, man. It's been a crazy viewing of watching this happen.
Man.
I think it's just really interesting because, you know, my introduction to Dilla was posthumous. And so, like, there's these sounds, and then I'm going back and then discovering, like, oh, there's this influence. Oh, yeah, they were a J Dilla fan. And, you know what I'm saying? I'm learning it that way. So I wouldn't be able to, like, pinpoint, like, where it started to split out of his, like, direct influence. But two things I find interesting was that, like, when I think about hip hop at the time that he was still alive and active, those sounds didn't sound anything like him. You know what I'm saying? What was going around in the rest of the world was very much, you know what I'm saying? I just think it was interesting that the producers of the time were doing their own thing, which I appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like, he truly stood out, and nobody was even like, you know what I'm saying? You know, except his direct influence people. But the other part is, like, you know, where I find it most lives is, like, in all the children of, like, Flying Lotus and, you know, in the beat scene, sort of that world, where it's like, it's been taken to a whole other level where people beats are so broken, you know what I'm saying, that it's a whole other kind of timing in itself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, it's just, that's where I feel like it kind of is taking on its own thing. But I at least appreciate that most people credit Dilla for that, you know what I'm saying?
And it's interesting now because I feel like there was a moment, and something that I read is either I read or watched an interview where they were speaking on, like, when Dilla first was, like, his sound was getting known, like, he was not rocking with the fact that people were biting his sound.
He hated it.
Right. So to hear now that, like, it's spread so wide and that so many people, like, are giving him that credit, I wonder, like, how would he respond to that now?
I think he had an issue with, like, direct. the Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, Janet Jackson joint is the, like, pinnacle of what he hated. Like, that joint, for my whole life I thought Dilla produced that beat until I heard that he didn't, and I heard that Jimmy.
Which joint?
On and on, Janet Jackson. Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis produced it, but I didn't know that until, like, years later. I feel like I knew it before. Got to this gone. My bad. Yeah, my fault. Yeah. But I feel like I knew it before I read the book, but then reading the book just gave me, like, a better insight on it. And then I go back and listen to it. You could even hear it in the timing too. Like, it's just hard to replicate what he does. And so I think that's what he hated. But I think some of the mutation of it, I think he would have loved, bro. Like, I think he knew that he had no choice but to impact. He was doing something so different. He had no choice but to impact what was going on.
I agree, man. I think, I mean, I'll just say this, man. Like, I'm not Dilla, you know what I'm saying? But, like, I think it's always going to be a mixed bag when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I have absolutely seen people take what I do here in this city for themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then they have children who don't even know that it came from me. You know what I'm saying? You know, and sometimes I see that and I feel, and I'll just be honest, sometimes I do. I feel underappreciated. Like, I invested and took risks in ways nobody was willing to do, and now that it's like a thing that's happening, right? You know, people don't even know it came from me. You know, now, like I said, I do have some negative feelings regarding that, and then at the same time, I'm like proud. You know, at the same time, I'm proud. I'm proud I created something that other people wanted to figure out how to do, too. You know what I'm saying? And then you have those people who make it easy to be proud because they say,
Yeah.
I do this because of him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The same way I say, I do this because of Jay Dilla. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll never catch me trying to be like, I came up with this on my own. No, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know the things I came up with on my own. And I also know the things that I was very clearly influenced by Jay Dilla, by Czarism, by these guys. You know what I'm saying? And I'm quick to make it clear because I don't ever want to assume. Because people will. Like, I've absolutely had things associated with me, like, you know, where just being transparent. Like, I remember one of the first Stuntariuses that came out where you had beats on the C-Mage. And I think it was LJ.
I think I did ask you about the mix on it.
He was just like, yo, these mixes is great. Yo, good looks. And I was just like, oh, I didn't mix that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That wasn't me. That was this thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and you know, I'm very quick to be like, nah, like, you know, I didn't come up with that. You know what I'm saying? But some people love the ambiguity of knowing you think they came up with that.
And they live in it.
And they live in that. Absolutely.
Weird ass nigga.
Niggas is weird.
They love that.
Weird is normal.
Not that
Now
type
we
of
said it.
that type of weird.
Y'all the one that said all this.
That nigga, that shit just weird. That shit just weird as weird.
Man, like back at the Dilla time, we saw the 7th.
Yeah.
We have a situation going on.
Situation. Yes,
Something's
sir.
happening.
Something's going on.
We got an emergency. Man,
Yeah.
pull up to Central Station at 9 p.m. It's free to get in there.
Yeah.
Come celebrate Jay Dilla. We got DJ freaking House Shoes
Yeah.
Crazy.
here in Memphis to celebrate. Legend and myself, C-Mage, and I Make Mad Beats will be opening up for him. Just doing a beat set, sort of like round robin style. I don't even
know what we
know how it's gonna go, bro. I just been loading up beats.
Yeah.
Just make sure I got some joints.
It's ready to go.
Which is crazy.
Shit,
But
you got about 10 million.
Man, what?
this nigga got to, bro. Shout out to I Make Mad Beats. Yo, on some real shit, like, bro, this was Mad was like the first prolific producer I ever met in my life. And then I just would see, like, oh, this is how all, like, the people I love
That's how
do
they
it.
move.
You know what I'm saying?
facts.
So, like, that was very inspiring just to be like, oh, you're like this in part because you just have done it so much, so much more than most people. And it's like, bro, this is,
It makes sense.
it simplifies it all. It's like, just do it a lot. Just keep doing it. You know what I mean?
That's it, man.
Yeah.
Just add some repetition to it, man.
Keep doing it.
That's it, man. Like, I was watching this video with Willem Dafoe, right? And it was a
Yes,
street.
we are.
It was a street interview, and they asked him like, "Yo,
Yeah.
if somebody's trying to get into acting, what would be your advice?" He was like, "I don't give advice."
Yeah.
I was like, "Damn, for real."
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, man, you just gotta go through it. You gotta have your own journey. You gotta have your own walk." No, I do think you can give advice, you know, but at the end of the day, like, the sentiment he said was supreme. Like more than any advice, you doing it is what's gonna be the thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just gonna be real. Like, yeah, I could give you advice on how to shoot, but if you take 1,000 jump shots a day, what I say really don't matter. I mean, they're gonna start going in consistently, you know. So just do it. Just do the thing, man.
That's real.
That's all that matters, really. Yeah, man. So yeah, like Kid Maestro said, pull up February 7th, Central Station. Things officially start around 9 o'clock. Yeah, man. To be quite frank, we don't even know what we're gonna do. I just know I've been making beats for this for a long time, and I can imagine like the majority of my set will probably be things I made maybe close to 20 years ago. You know, so you know I can't wait because these are gonna be beats that I just don't play now. You know, I just don't play in a live set. I'm just gonna take it back because, man, if I'm playing in the honor of Jay Dilla, well then I gotta play my most experimental. You know, I gotta play my little ideas, the little interlude beats that made the album. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to it, bro. It's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always say, you know, when I think about Jay Dilla and his legacy, the thing that always pops up, and I said this last time, was when that interview, and I don't know who he was talking to, but when he was saying, like, we was talking about people biting his style, and he was saying, yo, like, when I hear something dope, I want to go make something dope too, but not make what I just heard.
Yeah.
I want to make my own thing. You know what I'm saying? And I just resonate with that so much. I feel like that's the key. That's the philosophy, to like be inspired, seek inspiration, and be brave enough to take that inspiration and depart from whatever you just heard and do your own thing. And
Yeah, I'll add one more thing to that too. To me, that's the most Dilla thing you can do, right? I feel like people who really appreciate Dilla are like do something wild. You know what I'm saying? But I think what's incredibly important is to add another dimension to what you just said. So like to go home after being inspired by somebody else to do what you do, right? And then not being attached to it. The most Dilla things ever. If you listen to 1994 Dilla and then you listen to Dilla when he was passing, he made very completely different music. Like Donuts does not sound like Slum Village Fantastic Volume 1 at all.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound like the same producer touched them, right? But he was willing to travel with his music and be a risk taker his entire career. As soon as people started taking from him something, he was on to the next thing, right? And I think that that's important too, you know, is to be willing to travel in that uncertainty.
yeah, I'm excited about it, and I feel like the two producers, C Mage and Mad Beats, that I'll be sharing the space with embody that, which is why I'm so inspired by them. And so yeah, just it's an honor. many legends, you know what I'm saying, in the room, and I'm grateful to be a part. So pull up, y'all. It's gonna be crazy. Y'all know how we do.
Yeah, I do know how we do, and if you don't know how we do, you should pull up and find out. Yeah, man. With that being said, this has been another episode of Tight Beat, man. Man, thank y'all for those who continue to show up, pull up every Saturday, check in with us live, contribute. Like, you know, this isn't an easy landscape to navigate, you know what I'm saying? And so for those who really rock with us, who check in with us via the app, via YouTube, via IG, Facebook, whatever platform, just want to say thank you. Really serious, really extreme thank you for rocking with us. We truly appreciate you all. Damn, what's going on?
Choked up.
Getting choked up, man, getting emotional, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, this has been another episode of Tight Beat. My name is I Make Mad Beats. We are live from outer space in Unapologetic Studio, and behind me my cast is for the day.
LJ1S.
C Major.
Unique left, and I'm Kid Maestro.
Yes, sir. With that being said, y'all stay dangerous, stay safe, do both or do neither. It's all good. Peace.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.